You're drowning everything in me. The way she moves, the way she knows everything I need. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, so low. I fall down, but only 'cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taking. It's like the more you break me, the more I like to take. Running around, it's all a show. I'm the one that's being used. The scars are just the afterglow of living on a fuse. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, so low. I fall down, but only 'cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taking. It's like the more you break me, the more I like to. I fall down only 'cause I'm wasted. And I'm so down with everything she's taking. Like the more that you break me, the more I like to take.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business Power Hour. No, it's always
it's an adventure.
It's we
It's
do
not
this
an
every
episode.
week. Enough already. It's an episode.
Okay,
of
another
the,
episode.
of the Power.
Another
What's the name of
episode
the show? The Business
in
Power Hour
the lives
with
of
the
the
Music
business
Man
power.
and Darren.
That's what it says back there.
That's what it is.
You know, I want to.
Cute.
You know, I didn't mention last week, but our friends over at Big Frog actually did this for us. So we want to thank them.
Great
over
job.
there.
That's our T-shirt
Yeah.
people.
That's our T-shirt people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of our guests, including our guest today, gets one of our beautiful T-shirts.
And you
people
can get
them-
one too.
And you can get one too. That information is coming soon. We're going to be putting that up.
Amongst
And-
other things.
Amongst other things. So
Did you have a good week?
I had a great week.
What was so special? Well, you work like crazy. You're in the
Working like
palace,
crazy.
you know,
Well,
and-
yeah, but you know, this is coming down to the end. You know, and I get all the fun ones. You know,
You
the
got
last
4 more
minute
days
calls,
or so,
the
right?
last minute calls saying help me, and you're like, well, you know, the end is near. So there
Let's
is
put
a
it
hope
out
for you.
there that if people want to call in tonight and say hello to us and to our guest, which we'll introduce you to in a second, the number is 631-415-1365. That's 631-415-1365.
And our best caller, and let's set the rules for the best caller. The best caller tonight will get a T-shirt, but
What constitutes the
What
best?
what constitutes the best caller? What do you think?
What do you think?
No knucklehead stuff.
Well, you got the knucklehead
The
stuff.
knucklehead stuff. John, that means you're out. You already got a T-shirt.
Well, you can
So-
call John.
John,
but
you can call,
You're not
but-
getting a T-shirt.
You're not getting it.
Not
You already got
another
one.
you know.
And we're still waiting for our picture, John, of you in the T-shirt.
Yeah, we're waiting. We'll wait a little while for that puppy to
So
come
yeah, I
around.
had a good week. How about you? You're like no suit this week, so I'm happy
Yeah,
about
you
that.
gave rules. I shouldn't wear the suit.
I had to tell your coworkers.
Jason
Yeah.
said that take the suit off.
So your coworkers, I said, "What are you doing to him?" I said, "He's in a regular business suit. He can't do that. He's screwing the show."
I've been told since I've been wearing a suit that I look very fresh.
You're like,
That's the young stuff. Fresh.
Well, the fresh, you're right? Yeah, fresh.
I look
Isn't it
fresh.
fresh?
Our
Is
guest-
like 20
our
years
guest
old.
is like that.
He's fresh. He's young.
He's absolutely.
He's a very young guy.
Yeah, and he's very specialized, and he's very good at what he does. And how do I know that? Because I saw him perform. I saw him do his thing.
He's a performer?
When he was talking, he was performing.
Oh, so he's a good public speaker.
Excellent. And
Which
he
I
knows his
like.
product, and he knows what he does. Maybe
So what does
we
he
should
do?
introduce him. I don't know. Let him tell us.
Okay, so go ahead,
Listen.
introduce him. It's your
Hi.
guest.
Hello, William. Welcome to our show.
We have William from
Nice to see you.
F1 IT Solutions and Support. How you doing today, William?
Doing good.
Welcome.
Will,
to our
right?
show.
We're gonna call you Will.
Call me Will.
Call you Will.
Call him Steve.
He doesn't like Billy. He doesn't like Billy.
Call him Irving.
Irving.
You can call me Al. and
You can call me Rob.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
That's right.
That's
My
it.
wife will kill me.
So Will, how you doing today? Tell us a little bit about F1 and what you guys do.
Yeah, so we focus on small and mid-sized companies, Long Island mainly, but we do handle accounts all across the tri-state.
Oh, well, you handle with doing what?
Mainly it's IT, security, and support. That's since changed a lot over the last couple of years as more people have become aware of what IT security really is. It used to be where you do your antivirus, and that was really the end of it.
So wait.
Now it's this.
So wait. Let's back up a second. Because he's young enough.
I just backed up.
Not you.
Oh.
He's young enough where you could say, when you were a kid on the
Back in my
playground,
day.
right? Were you thinking about getting into IT as a career path?
You know what? Initially, I was thinking about being a stockbroker.
Really?
Yeah.
And what
was
changed your
first
mind?
job?
Well, I was a busboy, and then
Alright.
I ended up picking up an internship 2 weeks after I started working there, and then it just took off.
It just took off. So you got an internship to work with an IT company?
No, I worked under I worked for a printing company,
Okay.
and then I was shadowing the IT consultant that was doing their network, and then within a matter of a few months, I had a full position there.
As an IT
as
guy.
an IT guy, yeah.
Because you were a young guy, you knew what a computer looked like, and
Yeah.
it's
I just
basically
soaked
it.
it all up, and then, I learned by being in the trenches, and
Were
know,
you self-taught?
a lot of it, yeah, but for the most part, you have to do hands-on. So you do labs, you do classroom training, things like that, and
Can you program?
no, programming is not. There's a difference between programming and then everybody else. It's-
All right, so tell us the differences. Because most people, right, when they say, okay, I'm in IT,
Yeah.
it's like me saying I'm an accountant, right? Right away they go, oh, well, we want you to do actuary work first. No, that's not what I do. Right? You have specialties in IT, just like any industry.
Sure.
So tell us, right away everybody goes, do you do websites? I'm sure you hear that all the time.
He heard it
that's
tonight.
That's one of the
You heard it
first
tonight
questions.
because
Yeah.
that was one of the
Because I
questions
asked him.
Norm asked, right? Was so, and you said you don't do websites. What's the difference between a guy that does websites and a guy that does IT security?
So
And what is IT security? Give us a definition of what IT
So
security
IT
is.
security is for small and mid-sized companies. It's a different animal than what you guys see on TV. So you watch the movie like the show NCIS, and they have all like these crazy things going on. That's like enterprise level. The small and mid-sized companies are really focused more on the day-to-day stuff. Getting their company going, keeping their company safe, but at the same time have a budget, have expectations for what it's going to do, not slow their people down. And on Long Island, that's a tightrope walk. So security for our clients is more of a hitting the areas that are most important to protect their businesses, as opposed to an enterprise that can just spend
Well, how big
millions.
are your clients? Do they rank? Do you only accept people with a certain number of employees and up to a certain number? How does it work?
So on Long Island, mid-size is considered up to about 500 employees.
Okay, so you work with companies that size.
Yeah, up to about
Alright.
that size. Yeah.
Up to about. So
Right.
when do you start? Would you start at someone who was like a home
Yeah, we have a handful
entrepreneur?
of users that are, one person, one man bands, and we have other clients that, 2 people and up.
One man bands,
Oh.
that's you.
Yeah. So, I know we had a educational session about IT security a few months back, and that's a lot of our work is education, and IT security is a lot of education. It's not
Well,
just
there's-
putting things in place.
Right, there's a lot of things going on, but before we get into the security piece, one of the things that because we do the same thing, is people working from home,
Mm-hmm.
and especially on Long Island. We talked about the commute today and how brutal it is,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter anymore on Long Island. I said I
Doesn't
was at
matter
a
what time you leave in the
I was-
morning.
I was at a
doesn't
client in Nassau County today, and I had to go to Eastern Suffolk at 1:00 in the afternoon, and it took me an hour and a half, where it's a 45-minute drive if there's no traffic, right? So, traffic is crazy now, but you're seeing more and more, and this is one of the things that like here on 110, any place that they have a lot of office buildings, you see 4 lease signs in front of every one. There's less and less people actually going to the office to do their work.
Right.
So, do you work with a lot of remote users? And what kind of challenges do you run into with that?
So with remote users, a lot of companies want to balance seeing somebody in the desk
Mhm.
and knowing the work's going to get done. Because if they're there,
Right.
they have an idea that, all right, that person's going to be getting work done. If they're remote, it's a little more difficult. You have to put some kind of a control on that to know that the work is going to get done. Like an accountant can work remotely because they're not, as long as the books get done, it doesn't really matter.
Well, unless
when.
the accountant is working for a major firm or a lesser firm,
Right.
and someone, because it's billable hours,
Right, then it's
so they got to
different.
keep track on it. Same thing with a lawyer.
Yeah,
Right,
but the
but if
thing
you're
is, they could
working
still
remote-
work remotely and do that.
No, I'm saying they
Yeah.
can, but
Right.
we're talking about putting a track on it so that the bosses know that you're really working,
Right.
and that you're not out having lunch someplace.
But now, technology allows you to free everything from being in a physical presence. So you can work remotely for the computer that you sit at.
Mhm.
You can work remotely from the phone that you're supposed to be answering. You can work remotely from even scanning documents in.
You can sit in Starbucks.
Yeah.
And do the same thing. I was at a network meeting from the chamber on Tuesday, and we were at a place that services business machines and sells printers and high tech and stuff. Do you back that up too? Are you involved with these high tech printers and other types of computer type of machinery?
So printers and scanners are a different animal on the network. Right? They are, in essence, their own environment.
But they're in the same machine.
Yeah. Printers and scanners have become much smarter than they used to be. It wasn't, it used to be just press print and that was it. But now you actually have tablets integrated into those devices. So security plays a role in that as well. Biggest thing is that when you give back a unit, like after a lease, all your scans could be stored on that drive.
Yeah, you got to clear it out.
And most people don't realize that until after it's already left the warehouse and it's being now resold and now goes out to a refurb house. Refurb house cleans up the parts, replaces anything, and then sends it back out for a resale. And then, sure enough, that data shows up as it was when it left.
So
the
wait a
warehouse.
second. So if I deleted my hard drive, everything could still be on there.
Yeah. When you press delete, it doesn't actually delete. It just makes a reference saying that this file's not here, but it's not there. It's like me putting a piece of paper on your desk and saying.
But it's on
Darren-
your hard drive.
Yeah. Well, it's like a ghost.
Right.
Right.
You know when you erase something off a piece of paper with
Yeah.
a pencil.
And you can still see it.
Yeah, you still have that faint thing there. Well, there's software that will go through and read off all the ghost images of the files or the references and then
That's like the stuff you see on NCIS and,
Yeah.
and things like that when they're
Exactly.
taking a computer and they're pulling all the
But
old
that
stuff
happens
out.
a lot. If you delete a file by accident, if you get your computer crashes or somebody knocks over your computer and it goes onto the floor and the drive crashes or you spill coffee on it, you got to be able to get all that stuff out.
So my question to you then is this. Because I have sensitive data for my clients. So if I'm going to replace a machine, how do I get rid of that? Do I call Hillary?
Well, you call our team, I'm sure you're...
She knows how to do it, right?
I think that's for another
We're
show.
non-political.
That's another, no, but
Yeah.
how do you scrub the hard drive?
So you can do it with software. There's
Right.
certain software that, depending on what kind of media it is, there's
Mhm.
different protocol to how you would erase it. Otherwise, also physical destruction. So we were with a company called Shred It that
Right.
they
Yeah.
pick up your documents and stuff like that and destroy them, well, they actually will destroy your digital media as well. So if you take a hard drive and say, I want it destroyed, and you get a certificate verifying that chain of custody was handed over to them and then they destroyed it, what happens is they will take it into a giant paper shredder, and they'll drop the hard drive in, and out comes confetti of what your hard drive was.
Really?
You cannot reassemble it. You can't even tell what it was because now it's just a pile of
So,
shredded metal.
crazy.
I had a client a couple of years ago. They serviced ATM machines, and when they had to replace a hard drive on an ATM machine, they had to drill holes in certain spots.
Right.
It wasn't like they could just drill a hole in it and it was done. It was certain spots on the hard drive that they had to drill the holes in, and then turn it in to be shredded.
Right. Because if somebody takes that while it's in transit, then you could have an issue.
When I met you a couple of months back and you were doing your talk, you were getting really involved in the high-tech part of protection. I mean, there are different levels of, there's like I have software at home that protects me. It's not anywhere near probably what I need or what the average business goes and needs. Can you explain a little, like, from the least that you do to the most sophisticated information?
And to add to that, one of the things that we see all the time is, the antivirus stuff. Is antivirus really the thing that you should be concerned with? Or because I see these things where you got to get malware software as well as antivirus. What's the difference between the two?
So antivirus and anti-malware, if you're using a modern platform, have kind of meshed into one application.
Right. Okay, so what's a virus compared to a malware?
So a malware is something that would be kind of persistent and just like a nagging, like a sickness, right? And a virus really is really not something that happens in the same sense that it used to. Nowadays, if you get a malware on your machine, they're most likely going to be destructive, or they're going to try and steal information. It's a software of malicious purpose. So it used to be where they just want to send out spam. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, that's the way you get a virus, and they would just send out spam, or they'll host out files on your network.
Not as spam protection.
Right, and they've come around with some things to combat that. But malware nowadays is like banking trojans. You have ransomware, cryptojacking. You have these what's called, they will actually morph. So like a lava lamp, they'll change form, and then what they look like when the lamp is off, after a little while, just changes something different, and your antivirus is going to try and identify it as it's changing, but it's something different every time. So you have to look at how it's
changing, and that's how you attack it.
Colors it's changing.
It's like a disease.
Like a constantly morphing disease to evade getting detected. So malware now forms the whole umbrella of just bad software because there's such a variety of it now, as opposed to just sending out spam, which is
now there's an awful lot of crypto.
Well, we're gonna get into that right after these messages from our sponsors.
You're a great segue guy.
You like that, right?
It's pretty smooth.
Hi, this is Darren from the Business Power Hour. Are you associated with a charity or a nonprofit organization that is looking to raise money, but you want to do something different from other charities or something you've never done before? Well, if that's the case, then you need to call our friends at Friend Entertainment USA. Friend Entertainment provides tribute concert events featuring the best tribute talent from all over the USA, saluting stars such as Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, Queen, and many more. Whether you like Motown, rock and roll, R&B, country, Christian, or whatever type of music you like, they will provide you with the best entertainment at a price that is very affordable. In addition to music, they are now offering comedy shows saluting such stars as Robin Williams and Joan Rivers. With over 31 years of experience, Friend Entertainment will teach you how to create a successful show. The first thing you need to do is sit down with them and learn how you and your organization can put together a show that can be done from anywhere in the USA. These events will help you bring needed funds and branding to your organization, so you can continue to provide the needed services to your community. No organization is too big or too small. So reach out today. You can call or email Norman at Friend Entertainment USA and let him help your charity or nonprofit create an unforgettable fundraising experience. Call 844-698 844-698-9696. That's 844-698-9696. Or visit their website at friendentusa.com and ask for the Music Man. Tell him Darren sent you.
Welcome back, everybody, and we're here with Will, who is a cybersecurity internet solutions guru. And
like that.
before we get started, well, he is a guru. He's
a
the
smart
man.
kid.
Absolutely. How do people get in touch with you?
So easiest way, they can call at 631-764-2600, or they can email me directly, will at 631-764-2600.com.
That's crazy address.
Yeah.
I never heard anybody give a phone number off with. That's really cool.
Hey, you got my name and my number right there.
That's it.
That's it. What's your number? What's your name? I have to just pay attention. You know, it's right there.
It's all on. You don't
That's
have
really
to worry
cool.
about going to your website.
I like that.
that.
Nice stuff.
I think we're going to do that.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. I mean, we love educating people because that's the biggest defense to any of these threats is education. And hands down, it's the last line of defense against this stuff.
How much does it roughly cost for, say, a small business owner to use your services? I mean, I'm sure you have different kinds of packages that you offer.
Say you got 10, I'll throw the numbers out at you, right? So say you got 10 employees, there's 2 owners, 10 employees, half of them are remote, half of them work in the office. So what kind of support packages? Well, first of all, what would you support?
Well, we would support pretty much anything on the network. So if you have regular Macs, PCs, storage units, IP phones.
Now, do you repair them? Do you?
Yeah, so we work with businesses in whatever extent they need us to. So if they have other vendors, we work hand in hand with those to make sure the business gets the proper support. I mean, we're not there to take over or trying to oversell things. I'm really more as a confidant to the business. Say, look, we have technology needs that we need addressed. We have security concerns that we need to get addressed, and certain technology that we want to use to help grow our business. We help as a partner in that to get it done. Every business has different budgetary needs. You talk about manufacturing or finance. Different industries have requirements on
Do you deal with
regulations.
HIPAA a lot?
We don't deal too much in the medical field.
It's not just the medical anymore.
Oh no, not anymore. But HIPAA, yeah, that's medical specific. But the attorneys are starting to feel some heat on that.
Yeah.
So I mean, certain industries are starting to see that industry change, and they talk with us more and more about that.
Is that because people are, more and more people are being broken into and information's getting stolen? And not only stolen, but you read these things about these guys going in and hijacking their networks and saying, I had a client about a year and a half ago called me up because I have remote access to his books. Called me up and say, "Are you on my bookkeeper's computer?" I said, "No." She says somebody's on her computer. And she can't get control of her computer. I said, unplug it.
Yeah.
Right? Because we didn't know who it was.
Yeah, should have.
But evidently, before he unplugged it, a sign came up saying, call this number and we'll unlock your computer.
Yep.
So what is that all about?
So now with the advent of Bitcoin, right,
Okay.
some people still kind of foreign to, but it's digital money, anonymous digital money. So if you were to pay somebody online, you'd go to your bank, they would do a bank transfer, and you know who it's coming from and where it's going to. Okay, well, Bitcoin is the same thing where I can send you money, but you have no idea who I am, I have no idea who you are, and you don't know anything else other than this address or this wallet is where this many Bitcoins came from, and this is the Bitcoin wallet that it went to. And that's all.
And it's all anonymous?
Yeah.
So there's no way to trace it?
I mean, there's certain things you could find
But
out.
I'm not
not
understanding.
trace
What
it,
does Bitcoin have to do with someone who's asking for ransom?
So Bitcoin facilitates the ransom. So in every ransom, there's always a payment. Okay?
Yeah, but they don't ask for payment in Bitcoin. They
Well,
ask.
that's the de facto method. It's cryptocurrency as a whole.
Okay.
So it could be Bitcoin, it could be Ether, it could be Ripple, it could be any number of the Bitcoins that are in vogue at the time, and that's anonymous payment because they don't care who you are, but they don't want to get picked up by the feds or by some other government body that they're taking payments because of a ransomware campaign.
But they send you to Target.
Or that's a gift card scam, which is a little
That's
different.
that's the IRS
No, but
thing.
Yeah,
but that's also because I have had friends who have gotten this ransomware stuff. Go to Target, get a credit card or whatever it may be,
Gift card,
and
yeah.
the gift card, and bingo, and pay us. I've gotten attacked a few times, and we were talking inside where they ransom, don't touch your computer. I shut the computer off immediately, and I get them to disappear.
But the problem with ransomware is that by the time you notice it's there, it is already spread like a cancer throughout the entire machine.
Yeah, because people leave the computer on though, also,
But
and then it gets a chance to
doesn't take
spread.
that long though. It doesn't take that long. You can talk about minutes.
Well, I guess I've been lucky.
Minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you click on something and you realize that that one folder you were looking at after you're done browsing the internet is now trashed, the ransomware is spread throughout the entire system. If you have a Dropbox folder, it'll eat up a Dropbox. You have your iPhone plugged in, or a USB drive, or you have any cloud folders, OneDrive, iCloud.
So how do you protect yourself from that?
So for businesses, they're getting it from a lot of different angles. Okay, they're getting attacked on the network. They're getting attacked by email, by web pages. The thing you were mentioning before, where it pops
my
up on your
website.
whole screen.
Mm-hmm.
Those are they're more of a nuisance because they don't do any damage. There's no files that are there. They're just really aggressive ads that keep up the whole screen, and they try and get you to call the number.
4,400 clicks I had gotten for someone with info to friend enter
Right,
USA.
so that would end up being a script. And
You thought you were popular at that
yeah.
thing.
I thought for China, if China's reaching, this was from China.
Well, you're
They're
gonna-
reaching, they want me to do a whole show.
yeah.
Very good, very good.
And if you see that
I
those
go there.
1,000 messages come in, it could be sending out just as many messages to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure.
yeah.
I didn't just pick me.
Right, but that stuff is all automated. That's usually done through ads. So like a what's called malvertising, malicious ads. So you buy a block of advertising on Google, and then they'll buy, let's say, 100,000 impressions. So that advertisement is going to run 100,000 times, and one of those ads, or maybe 1,000 of them, is going to be a malicious picture.
Really?
That malicious picture, when it gets loaded into your web browser, tells it to do certain things that would otherwise not want to do. So it'll pop up a big screen that you can't click out of, or it'll open up 1,000 tabs and open up more as you try and close them out. Get a phone number that you're going to try and get gift card scams.
So this client that he's talking about with 2 partners and 10 employees needs to protect themselves.
Right.
So you go in and you do an audit, survey,
Yes.
whatever it may be, of what they have, and
Right.
then you make a suggestion.
Correct.
Okay. How sophisticated? I mean, you ask them how secure do you really want to be,
Right.
right?
So every small business and even medium-sized companies have to balance, the risk and the budget.
Risk reward.
So it's a tightrope act, especially with Long Island and the constant increasing in costs to just do business around here. That lightweight juggling that you have to do, even the slightest tip to one side could cause an issue. But security is something where if something does happen, that it could tip that scale so far to the other side that there's no coming back from it. Like with ransomware, if you're not getting proper backups done, you could cheap out on your backups, and if ransomware comes around, it will completely just eradicate your entire network.
Now I know, because we have done business, that you have a security system on your business website, which is great. Okay, do you want to discuss? Is that something you suggest to people? I mean, if you're using it,
We don't do too much on the website end.
I mean for their business.
Yeah, so that when we
Which
do
means he actually read your website.
Yeah, so when we actually sit down with people, that's when we really want to show them what is it that you think you have, where do you want to be, and then what is the path to get there, and how much does it cost?
So basically what you're doing is you're setting a goal,
Right.
right? And then you're figuring out a roadmap on how to get there. Who talks about that stuff? Goals and roadmaps. Somebody I know. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. Well, I apologize. So look, and this is the thing that I got clients that they don't want to know any of this stuff, right? And do you find that when you're talking to your
Just fix it.
clients, just fix it? But then when you say to them it's going to cost X number of dollars, because it can get very
Don't
expensive,
fix it so good.
Right.
right?
Well, it's like getting a vaccine, right? You can get a vaccine, and sometimes you can still get an infection.
Right.
But there's certain things you try and do to avoid
Prevent
getting
it.
sick.
Right.
You wash your hands, you take your vitamins, so on. But if everyone's just going to get a vaccine and they say, I'm good to go, I can do anything I want now without any second thought to it, that's dangerous. So with security, there's 3 P's. Okay, you have your people, your platforms, and policy. Okay.
All right.
In that lineup, your platforms is your software, your firewalls, your hard, your hard equipment.
Right.
That stuff every business should have right out the gate. That is really your foundation to it. Next, you have your policy. Okay, not opening up emails. You have to sign off after 10 minutes. Your desktop background is not allowed to be changed. Your machine has to change your password. Certain company policies that ensure good hygiene on security. Okay. After that, you have people. Okay. People are your last line of defense if all else fails. Okay. If your people aren't trained, they're not getting cybersecurity education. They're not getting awareness of what it is that's going on.
So do you do cybersecurity? Like, I got a company, right?
Yeah.
And I got 10 people working in a room, and all of a sudden these screens start popping up. Are you educating your clients and their employees? Do you go in and do that? Is that part of what you do, or
Yes.
are you tell them to go on YouTube and watch this video?
No, we would actually work with.
No, I'm asking a question.
It depends because
A tutorial.
A tutorial.
There's obviously the cost to everything.
Mhm.
But if you're all other security layers are lax, if you're not spending anything on the other 2 P's, I could tell you all day about educating your people, but it may not help you from the attacks that are coming through on the network because that is no interaction to the people.
Right.
By the time something gets to the third level, the people, it's already
It's basically
everything else.
It's pretty much on your last.
So you got to
leg.
block it before it even gets there.
Right. So
Right.
you go through the platforms, you go through the right policies, and then the piece de resistance is educating your people so that if something does get past those 2 and gets onto their desk or their inbox, that it's not just waiting to step on that landmine.
So
they know better than to.
What's the worst situation that you ever run into in this type of environment?
Somebody
Where-
calls me up, says
where-
they got ransomware,
Right.
and my first question is, where are your backups?
Okay. But, from your experience, has it happened to a client that you were servicing? Because it can happen, right?
Ransomware has happened, sure.
Right.
Does it go into when you're backing up? And I back up every minute of the day. All right, mine is, if I get ransomware, is it going into that?
It depends on how your backups are. Yeah, so the backups, there is a general rule of thumb that you should be applying with your backups. So the one thing you don't want to do is have your backups be attached to your computer and have it be the only copy. An external USB drive, which a lot of people think is their backup, is not the backup. Because if that's connected to your computer, ransomware will just eat it right up.
All right, so where do you suggest that we back this stuff up? Because you're telling me that if I have cloud accounts, that it's going to attack my cloud accounts too.
Right.
So if I'm backing up to the cloud, isn't that susceptible to this malware and these ransomware
so
and stuff?
Let's take Dropbox, for example. All right, so you have a regular desktop or a Mac. You have your Dropbox, and you put files in there.
Right.
Okay. Dropbox takes it, copies it out to the cloud, and all is good. Well, now if ransomware hits and it encrypts those files, Dropbox is not a backup platform. It's just a cloud filing cabinet. So this way you can get to your files wherever you are. You would use a platform like Backblaze or a BDR, which is a backup and disaster recovery platform that would actually take full snapshots of those files, and on top of it, keep a separate copy of those in the cloud. So again, there's a cost to it, but the performance that you get for restoring your data is where the cost comes in. So at minimum, you should be backing your files up to the cloud, just your files. That's the cheapest way to get anything out. Backblaze is like $70 a year for a desktop. Just turn it on, set it and forget it.
Are they one of the better ones in it? Because there's tons of them out there, right?
You have Backblaze, you have Carbonite, you have Mozy, which is
I just hooked up with Carbonite because I was in the company they just bought,
Mozy. Yeah, Backblaze, from what we found, is one of the better ones out there because they let you download and upload files as much as your computer and your internet connection can handle.
Oh, Carbonite does that too.
On the restores, we haven't seen as good of a performance on Carbonite, but don't get me wrong, having Carbonite, Mozy or Backblaze is better than not having anything.
Okay, so we've all heard of Carbonite
Yeah.
because they advertise everywhere, right?
Yeah, they're all
So
over.
how come we've never heard of Backblaze?
because Backblaze really is more of a online warehouse.
Okay.
So you would use Backblaze with like a third-party application like Cloudberry.
So they're really looking at the big clients. They're not
Yeah.
going for the general public like us, where we got 1 or 2 computers,
Well,
and
they
3
have
computers.
platforms for 1 and 2 computers, like individual
Right.
workstations, and it's great. It's great. Copying all your files straight out to
Right.
Can you
Backblaze.
combine? Can you have Carbonite and Backblaze?
You can, but it's
stupid.
it's it's like having 2 cars in your garage.
Oh, I
And
like
they're both,
that.
And they're both
I
backups.
like that.
I like that 2 cars.
Yeah, I don't mind having
Yeah,
cars.
3 cars. I like.
Well, yeah.
I get
And a
my choice
motorcycle.
of cars.
Yeah.
You know,
What's wrong with that? And a
But
boat.
the problem is, you're paying insurance and maintenance for 2 cars. I mean, they're both going to do the same thing, and what's the point?
Let's take a
Right.
second and give off your phone number again.
Yeah.
Sure. 631-764-2600.
And your email address. How can I get a hold of you, Will?
Will, WILL, at 631-764-2600.com.
Say that again.
And if you would,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Will, WILL, at 631-764-2600.com.
I love that. I love that.
That's good.
So-
yeah.
And if you'd like to call and ask Will a question right now, the time's on us. So you
Time's
can
on.
call. There's no charge. 631-415-1365.
So you can get some answers to some.
Yeah, you get some free
good stuff.
answers for your stuff.
Hey, remember, best caller tonight gets a T-shirt. I know that's.
Right now we'll be taking the T-shirt
I'm gonna
home.
take the T-shirt home. Yeah, I don't want to take any more T-shirts home.
So
I don't want
it's-
to look at my ugly face.
Isn't it time
But
for you?
It's a time. Yeah, it's actually we're coming up on it. And you know what? Why don't we do that? Why don't we take a station break?
That's it.
All right. And words from our sponsors. We'll be back right after this.
Okay.
Small business owners.
So far, so good.
Small business owners. Are you having trouble growing your business? Do you feel like you're always swimming upstream? Do you feel like daily tension that I can't get ahead and I don't know why? Hi everybody, my name is Darren Sayafi and I'm a business therapist. What's a business therapist? Well, some people call us coaches, some people call us advisors, other people even call us strategists. We take a vested interest in you and your personal development as a person and as a business owner to give you the tools and structure that you need to take it to that next level. So don't wait. Give me a call today for your free consultation and let me show you how you can help yourself.
Welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. I'm Darren.
I'm the Music Man.
He's the Music Man.
AKA Norman.
And we're with our friend Will from F1 Networx, right? IT Solutions, sorry. And we were just talking about ransomware and
protecting your
and
computer.
protecting your computer. But I want to get into something else. Today was a beautiful, beautiful day out.
Stunning.
It's been, right? The last
it's been
few days.
beautiful.
I mean, it rained a little bit yesterday, but it's almost fishing season. So I hear these things about
That's
fishing
another segue.
and the internet, right?
Oh, look, I'm telling you,
And
this
computers.
guy is like after flounder.
So I hear you're very much into fishing with the computer networks and stuff. So tell us about what fishing is all about.
PH.
PH.
Fishing.
Yeah, like the band. Like the band fish. Yeah. Well, not as
So
enjoyable.
what exactly? I've heard people call it phishing or fishing or whatever it is. But tell us what that's all about.
So phishing is pretty much getting what most people consider a junk email,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives you some kind of an offer that entices you to interact with an email that is from a person that doesn't want to do good.
Right.
Getting you to click on something, to download something, give you credit card information to take it, or personal information like your social, your address.
Or like you get those notifications from your bank that
Oh.
log in now to
Nigeria.
double check it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Nigeria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Nigeria scams have
They're
long
old
since.
already.
It's-
Luckily,
They're still out there.
oh yeah. Well,
Because there is some idiot that's going to respond to that.
well, just like fishing, if you put your hook in the water enough, something's bound to bite on it.
Exactly.
All right.
But
So what is that concept? All is that's a concept. The concept is to put a whole bunch of stuff out there and try to get somebody to bite so they can get information.
well, it can go in any direction, really. It could be just information. It could be ransomware.
Yeah, but they're not just calling for information. They want to take your information and do something with it.
Well, it depends on what the campaign is. So
It's not good, whatever the
No, whatever it is, you don't want to be on the receiving end of it.
Exactly.
So for businesses especially, it can be very damaging. You can have phishing where, you said with the UPS, you have a package waiting for you. Click on this your tracking number, or you have an invoice waiting for you. That's a very common tactic.
You know what? Actually, I'm getting a few of those in my junk mail. They go right in my junk mail box, and it says your invoice is ready. And right away, I know it's not for me because I'm like, I didn't buy anything from these people.
Right.
But Dan, I also make a quick point on that though. If it shows up in your junk folder, that means that it's made it past all your mail filters, and that your end users are seeing it. So if they suddenly say, "Oh, it could be from one of your other business associates that was compromised," use their email address, which is legitimate to your users, and then get sent out.
Right.
To dupe your employees. So it could end up in your inbox, but if it ends up in your junk folder, but from somebody you know, the chances of that landmine going off is much, much higher. So if it makes it to your inbox, it's too late, at least from my book. If you see something like that show up in your inbox or your junk folder,
So if I just empty my junk folder and delete it, then it's still there?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that before. It's still got the list, right?
It ends up in your deleted items, but the problem is that it's still in your inbox. So it should be.
It's still in scam or junk mail or whatever.
It's somewhere within your user's reach.
What about clutter? That's another thing.
Clutter is just it's an organizational piece. But if you see it, you personally see it in your inbox, whether it be in a junk folder, your clutter, your garbage mail, or your inbox. It's too risky to even be that far into the system.
People are also phishing on Facebook.
Well, yeah, they'll get to you any way they can.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing with phishing is that depending on what type of a campaign it is, if it's a banking Trojan, they're going to want to steal information. They're not after destruction.
Right.
Because based on the target, they might know that, this company is, they deal a lot with tax season, right? Yeah. Last year's tax season, it was tax prep offices that were targeted heavily. So those offices were being specifically aimed at for certain campaigns. Banking Trojans, stealing people's tax returns, stealing all the information out of a return document.
Right.
Where as they're typing it in, it's taking screenshots and it's logging their keystrokes. But again, by the time that email message got to that user, if they didn't have the precautions in place to stop it before it even got there, it could have been too late.
A small company like mine, right, where we don't have a lot of people, and most of us are working remote. How do we protect ourselves?
So that's
you call Will.
Yeah. So we
seriously. we got antivirus, we got malware.
Right. So
stuff,
you got to look at your main communication line. Right. So email is the biggest thing that everybody uses these days to communicate. Mm-hmm. But we see it time and time again. Nobody wants to spend money on email security. It's like saying, I put a good lock on my front door, but every window and back door in my house and the side door on the garage, I don't want to put any money, let alone a door to it. But why? Like, you can get into your house in any other way because they're not going to take the front door because they know everybody does that and then calls it a day. So, like in your case, really anybody that uses email, right?
So we use Office 365.
Perfect. So Office 365 and Gmail. Office 365 has another thing you can do with that, with mailbox backup. But what you would do is you'd put like a spam filter in front of it. We use Barracuda for our clients.
That's the one I was talking about that you use.
Barracuda.
Yeah, Barracuda.
Fishing.
Yeah. So we got to get a bigger fish to go after the little ones. But what the Barracuda platform does is that it allows one message to come in, and then based on multiple rules and different policies that you set, you can allow those messages to either go through or get blocked. The biggest thing is ATP, which is called Advanced Threat Protection. So those PDF files you get, those Word docs. Those
Slow down, you're talking very fast, right? So Advanced Threat Protection.
Right. So
that's ATP.
Right. So you have spam filtering, right? Spam filtering is going to filter out the most obvious garbage. Your Nigerian Prince scam, your Viagra, or your Rolex watch scams, or the scam saying you need to get your free gift cards. That stuff's pretty obvious. ATP looks at the attachments, looks at the body of the message, and say what is actually going on here. Okay, are there scripts embedded inside the email itself? What are those scripts doing? Where are they connecting to? What other websites? Is it trustworthy? Any of the links inside of it?
Well, and that's my next question is, right? Could somebody be sending an email in where it's just a link, and when you click on a link, that's when everything gets downloaded?
It could be a link. It could be a PDF file. So you can get a document that looks legitimate and does nothing until you open it, and then you click on something in the document.
And bingo.
And that's what it is, yeah. So you want your spam filters to look into the documents, not just...
It sounds complicated to get all this stuff set up.
It is.
So how does like a sole proprietor who's trying to protect themselves?
So circling back to what we had said earlier, that we work hand in hand, very close partners with the business owners and the other key staff to make sure that we're aware of what it is that they're expecting to come through and what shouldn't be. So right off the bat, we do a lot of geography blocking, right? So do you accept mail from the Philippines?
I accept mail from everybody.
That's the problem. But
here's the thing.
In the Philippines?
Okay, so you just asked me, do I accept mail from the Philippines?
That's really.
I've never sat down and said, okay, I'm not going to accept mail from here.
You don't have a method to.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Nobody's ever educated me to that. I needed to do that.
So and that's maybe a fault on me, is that I educate people about what they should be doing, even if they don't do business with us.
Okay, right. So I call you up, and I have some security on my computer. I'm probably not anywhere near like what you're talking about, and I'm this one computer type of person who works at home. Can you do this remotely?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the procedure to go and do that?
So we'll set a remote session up. We can do a one-off and say, Norm, what does your normal day-to-day look like? I get emails from so-and-so.
Sitting on a couch eating bonbons. And
if that's the normal day, then that's the policies we
with
craft.
My computer.
With his computer.
And if that's your day-to-day, your policies should reflect securing that flow.
Right.
So if you're getting mail from the Philippines, I want to ask you, Norm, do you do any business with clients in the Philippines? No. What about Russia?
No.
Okay. China, the Middle East,
South
America.
Until they bugged me.
Right.
So China, yeah.
So with any sort of those geographies, if you're not doing business with those countries or any clients within that country, why would you accept mail from them? You shouldn't. Because a lot of that garbage is going to come from overseas. So right off the bat, you're going to cut out a lot of the noise because you're not even listening to the rest of the world. Like, there could be a crowd of people outside in the street. I'm not going to hear them because the only people I'm going to be conversing with is us in the studio.
So
that's just part of it.
That's part of it, right? So, like, one of the things is, people breaking into your account and using your account as spam, to spam out everybody, right? Yeah. So, like, I was told by a very good friend of mine that with my Office 365 to do double verification.
Two-factor, yep.
Right, two-factor verification. So now, if I'm not, and the thing is, you can set it up when you're at your desk, you don't have to do it, right? So, but if I'm out and I want to check my email and I go on a computer, it says, okay, now I have to get a code sent to me in order for me to get in. I can't just log in.
That stinks.
Well, that doesn't stink. It's good because...
How long does it take to get the code?
It takes 2 seconds. It takes it right to your phone.
But Norm makes a great point on that, is that's a big sticking point for when we want to enable two-factor. Right. Is that it takes too much time. It's complex. What if I forget my phone? It really is a pain, but...
There's ways around that?
Well, there's not any way. Just
it's like putting two deadbolts on the door.
No, is there a way to do it without the code?
There's other methods, instead of having a code. Sure, there's other methods, but you still have to feed something back.
Right.
All right. So you're gonna have a key fob, or you're gonna have a fingerprint, or you're gonna have some other secondary method that's gonna say, "Hey, I am who I am." But
you mean like the robot?
Yeah.
The robot.
That's what.
But that's the captures. So
the captures. Okay,
click on the bicycles or what have you. That's
what a pain it is.
That is, but robots have found a way around the robot questions.
Well, it's every time they come up with something, somebody figures out how to get around it, right? So,
but this again, the security stuff, until it becomes mandated, it's just going to be an optional seatbelt, right?
Yeah, but if it becomes mandated in the United States, it doesn't mean it's mandated outside the country.
Well, that's why you block outside the country so you don't get those messages.
Well, that's part of what
But that's
happened.
part
That's
of
part
it,
of what
yeah.
happened in Europe. So Europe, they had GDPR, which is a General Data Protection Regulation. Okay, that pretty much said if you have information on any of the EU citizens, European Union citizens, you have to go through certain, a checklist to make sure that data is protected. Now in the States, different states and different areas have different their own regulatories. Like New York, it's NYSDFS. Department of Financial Services has their own, but nobody really has to apply to it unless you register with DFS. But it's a good rule of thumb. There's NIST, which is another standard. California has their own thing going on that's sort of like GDPR. But everybody should be adopting something towards better security hygiene. It shouldn't be I have to do it because of I'm required to do it. It's like the seatbelts. You buy a car, you have seatbelts, you have airbags, you have your brakes. You shouldn't put your seatbelt on because the government tells you should put your seatbelt on, you're going to get a ticket. You should put your seatbelt on because you don't want to fly through the windshield, because the alternative reality of not wearing it is generally not wanted.
Good.
Right. So, so you do it, or at least you try to.
Right.
But the idea is that you make some effort towards it, and not just kind of walk. Take it as a walk in the park, and then if something happens, you kind of like, oh my God, how did this happen?
Right.
Because it was waiting for you the whole time.
They were just sitting there waiting.
How long is the session to go and check into the computer and make recommendations remotely?
Usually takes about an hour. Yeah. But larger
That's
companies.
why you can charge an hour fee.
I got to
Well,
be around for an hour.
I'm teasing you, Will.
And as the companies get larger, there's other nuanced departments and processes that have to get taken into that consideration. So it's not just a cut and dry. Here's a menu of things and package A, package B.
Right.
But
if you're like for small business, 1 or 2 users, about an hour to do it.
Yeah.
But it scales
Yeah,
on
exactly.
the size of the
because
company.
I can ask the owner of the company right there,
Right.
hey, what clients where do you do business with clients? Oh, I do them here, there, and the other place. Okay, great. So we know we can omit everybody else. Do you have an accountant that works remotely? Yes. Okay. Well, we have to consider that. Do you use QuickBooks Online? Yes. Okay. That takes a couple other things out of the picture.
Right.
Do you work completely from the cloud, or do you have an office where people access files on a server that you control? Okay, well that changes the equation again. So
there's a lot of factors.
yeah, it's
So
not
it's complicated. You need somebody like you. You need an expert.
like you and I can't just go buy a bunch of lumber and then build a house.
Why not?
We could.
Oh, he could.
Yeah, I mean we could, but
I give instructions.
I mean,
You know, he can build it.
I'm not good at building houses, so
Right.
I leave it up to a contractor to handle
Well,
that.
it's like the same thing with mechanic, right? In this
Right.
day and age,
In
you
all
got to
our
bring your car to a
professions,
mechanic.
we become good at what we do, so it's really silly for people not to use
Right.
a professional in
People don't
securing their
realize
needs.
they don't realize how much money they save
They
by bringing an
absolutely-
expert in.
Right. They just look at how much it costs to
You know,
have them
they-
in.
Right. Yeah, but they're not looking at how much money it's actually saving them by
Right.
bringing the expert
If
in.
an organization calls a particular, in my world, group, and they say they're looking to do a fundraiser or whatever, they're going to get a certain price. If I call up, I get less.
Sure.
Okay, so that's exactly how it works, and it winds up saving them money, time, and effort
Right.
in going to do
Because
that.
it's all those nuanced details that people get caught off guard with, and then trying to figure it out themselves comes around to cost them more. And in a lot of these times, you're dealing with actual business interruption if it's set up wrong. Like when
Right.
we're setting up the Barracuda mail system, right? There's certain timelines and checkpoints that you have to get done at a certain time. Otherwise, you could interrupt mail coming in or interrupt or stop mail going out. And actually,
Right.
that's on that same point. All your outgoing mail should get checked through the Barracuda system as well. It's not just incoming. People forget that email's a two-way street. So you can protect all your mail in, but you should be scanning it on the way out.
Because something could affect your computer where now it's attaching itself to other emails.
Remember those 1,000 info at emails you got?
For 4,400.
Yeah. So those would have tried to go out from Barracuda. Barracuda would say, hey, this is very irregular, and he's trying to flood outbound mail.
Right.
Let me just...
And that was from China.
Well, it
like
doesn't
I
matter
said.
if it's from China or from your own address book. It's going to tell your mail to back off, and it's going to hold your messages in quarantine, so you don't inadvertently start blasting messages out.
And that's what happened.
Right.
So, Will, to wrap up, because our hour is up.
It's
Believe it or
already
not.
9.
Yeah, it just flies. I told you the time was gonna fly, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's
We could
because
do this for
we're
hours.
such great people to be hanging out
Well,
with.
that's true too.
That's what it is, right? So one more time, Will, how can people get in touch with you and actually figure out how to protect themselves?
I got to get in touch with him. I got to
Yeah,
find time to
definitely.
go and do this.
So they could email me at will at 631-764-2600.com. So that's my email.
Right, and say that again.
Will, W-I-L-L, at 631-764-2600.com. Or you can call at 631-764-2600.
Do you give
All right.
any seminars? Do you ever hold anything like that at all?
Yeah. Usually it's for...
Do you have one coming up that you want to tell the people about?
well, we're actually working on one with the Melville Chamber that we're looking at.
We're going to do again? Another one?
Yeah.
It was successful, right?
Yes. Very large
Yeah,
turnout.
you had a great crowd.
And the question, the feedback that come from the group, you'd be surprised that people, these are like big news things that should be, on the evening news, but the evening news doesn't care about it and they won't make a splash about it. But yet it affects businesses and individuals every single day.
Because it's real news.
It's real things that happen. Well, the city of Albany, all right, just last week they got ransomware.
Really?
Anybody hear about that on the news? No.
Yeah, I think I did, but they didn't make much of it.
Yeah, it was
They
probably
kinda,
like
skipped over
It was
it.
like a 10-second little splash on
That
News
was it,
12.
yeah.
It's, you know,
It's nothing.
yeah, there was Norsk Hydro. That was a large aluminum manufacturer.
Same thing?
hear
Same
that.
thing, got ransomware.
Yeah,
shut
that's,
down.
that's unbelievable.
Hospital systems.
hmm
I mean,
They're trying to get all the information. Well,
Yeah.
Target a couple of years ago.
yeah,
always over
Target.
that.
Target's a big name. But Target, Home Depot, the credit card companies. I mean, they
Yeah.
were. Equifax. I mean, Equifax was kind of the the elephant because they had everyone's Social Security.
They had everything.
But the thing is, the Social Securities are so cheap on the black web.
Yeah.
That
You don't know
the dark
who,
web.
who's got real ones now and
Right.
Yeah.
So it almost didn't even matter. But the real damage is to the businesses that aren't ready for what could happen.
Yeah.
Not having cyber liability insurance, not having the backups in place. There's a whole list of things that we
So
talk about.
there's a lot more we need to know.
We're going to have
So
to have you
get-
come back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
in
have
a
him come
couple
back.
months
So get in
and
touch with
continue
Will at
this
F1
conversation.
Networx, and
What does
he'll
F1
help
mean,
you.
by the way? Does it have any meaning?
Well, on your keyboards, if you press F1, you get the help.
That's it. There
Duh.
you go. There you go.
Duh.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, I learned
and,
F1.
And the logo is a.
I
it's
only
actually
know
to
about
the-
F5.
Oh. and the
Or
the
FU.
nautical logo for Long Island. So.
All right, thanks, Will, for being on the show.
You
I
got
really
it, guys.
appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much.
Thank you very
Good
much.
job
Very
tonight.
good.
All right, my friend. So what do you got coming up?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's an easy week.
It's
Next week,
an easy week?
you may have some
Yeah, I'm
hot things to say.
I'm wrapping up this week. Got a lot of things wrapping up, but we're getting there. I'm
may
feeling.
have
I'm
a,
feeling the
a
we're
four-show
getting-
announcement to make.
Oh yeah, we got a couple of things coming up that we're working on. Kind of, on top of this.
We're
stuff,
doing
so.
we're doing a trade show, aren't we?
We are doing a trade show. All right.
For an
come on.
organization that we're involved in. I guess we'll make that announcement.
We'll make that announcement next
Uh-huh.
week because we still got a month before that happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We'll invite everybody to
We'll
come on.
invite
down.
everybody down. You're going to be able to come down and see us live.
Oh, lucky you.
Uh,
All right, everybody.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for watching. And again, have a great week. Be safe. Drive safely. Be safe again. And
Right.
God bless.
all right. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone. Bye.
Now I'm just this broken soul. I'm always a giver, but I'm never known. And I'm just this lonely man, alone on the river with my heart in my hand. The conversation they're all dead. The lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind clear. Oh. man has already won. Hold my mind clear, Lord, I shed all my tears.